Hello, my name is Harriet Robbins, and so this video you're about to watch was mainly filmed a year ago, which means I'm gonna change. So the idea of this video is I wanted to do motion capture and deepfakes. So I picked a clip from a classic Doctor Who episode, The Massacre. I picked the last episode, The Bell of Doom, and the lovely end bit with William Hartnell on his own, contemplating all the past companions who have left him, because Stephen just left him because they didn't save Anne Shapley and they left her to die, and oh, it's basically like Fires on Pompeii a little bit, like, you should have saved her, and I could say, well, he didn't save anyone. I guess Fires of Pompeii redeems for that. Anyway, I'm rambling. So what I did was, the plan was, I will do motion capture using the iPhone, using Unreal Engine, and then I will use that into Blender, and then I will project deepfakes onto that. So I render out 3 sides of the face and then deepfake each side and then project them back on, creating this kind of mix between motion capture and deepfake. And the reason for that is because deepfakes don't work in 3D. They're 2D. They're taking image A to image B, and so they don't work with 3D that well. And you can see when they scale 2-dimensionally. So this was trying to get around that and get a better 3D movement out of a deepfake, and better, more realistic proportions as well. So it's based on William Hartnell's, a model of William Hartnell, and so that's the plan. Then I went on to do some other stuff that we will get onto, but for now, enjoy me from a year ago. Over to you, Harry.
The first thing I did was I remastered the sound of The Bell of Doom. I used the audio from the radio release of it, and I used Adobe Audition, and I used some denoising, some de-reverb and things like that, and I passed it over to Adobe Podcast Enhance, which is an amazing software. The only caveat is it doesn't always detect the sound, and it sometimes does a really AI kind of sounding voice. I had to really raise some of the audio levels because there's bits where he whispers and it has to be the same volume as all the rest of the audio for it to detect that as a voice. Once I had that all passed through, and I had it at like 90% enhanced, and then also I did one at 10% enhanced, and I used both of them and just had them really quiet and in the mix with the original, and it had reverb all over everything. So then it's kind of the equivalent of doing an upscale in AI upscales, where I like to upscale a piece of work and then blend it with the original and then blur it slightly and do all these kind of things to make it less AI generated. I think the end result is pretty good, and it's a good starting point for our reconstruction. So next of all, we're doing the Metahumans. So this is a very interesting new technology. Once it was announced, I immediately tweeted, oh my god, I'm going to use this to reconstruct a Doctor Who episode. I spent a long time trying to come up with different faces using it, using the online kind of adjusting the face sliders, making the face using existing faces, and it never looks that good. But there's a thing you can do in Unreal Engine where you take a mesh, an existing mesh, put it through the software, and then it comes out and morphs an original metahuman to this mesh. You end up with a perfectly rigged face that can then have motion capture done by the Unreal Engine software already, all done exactly how they programmed that, but using the likeness of a mesh you have given it. Now, with motion capture inside of Unreal Engine, there's an interesting step where I have to film myself and it go from side to side and show my teeth, and then what that does is it gives it the depth sensor data from the iPhone, and it builds a mesh of me so it can track me, which is so interesting. But the main thing that was the downside was the texture, which is what the Metahuman had created. So I've been playing around with this for quite a few days, and I've posted loads of my tests on Twitter, so give me a follow on there if you're interested in this sort of thing. And basically, all that to say is I think it's a good test. There's a bit of jerky motion where I kind of acted, I don't know why, but I kind of moved, and there's things I say where I'm moving my teeth up and it kind of looks really odd in the model. So a lot of what I'm going to do now is reperform it, but try and really, like, he speaks a bit like this, doesn't he? He really shows his teeth. I guess we're gonna get my phone out and we're gonna try and perform this scene. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna play the audio on my computer and then I'm going to come over here. I think I have to be quite close. I'll bring my mouse over here actually, and then I can control it from over here. I've got a wireless mouse. Okay, this is all set up. I've got my phone there. Let's take my eyes off and let's give this a go.
Even after all this time, you cannot understand. I dare.
I don't know how much I should move as well. It's kind of difficult, but we'll give this a go. Let's give it another go. And I'm not sure. Vicky. I don't want to go like this because it will look weird. And Vicky. See, that's two patterns, rather. And Vicky. Yes, and Vicky. So I need to disable these notifications as well, yes.
Even after all this time, you cannot understand. I dare not change the course of history. Well, at least I taught him to take some precautions. He did remember to look at the scanner before he opened the doors.
Okay, so first of all, we're going to import the footage, and this involves the OSC server on the iPhone. So we can see here, I've enabled the server, and that basically allows me to connect it to Unreal Engine. There is a thing called a capture manager, and there it is. And I've created a new one there just now, but iPhone is the one that we want, and I want to copy Massacre 2 because I've reviewed the footage and I've decided that's the better one. So I click add to queue, I click import all. On the iPhone, you can see it straight away, done that, hello. And then it's transferring over. Okay, so that's done now. So we will go into this Massacre 2. I'm really bad at naming conventions. We will go to Metahuman Animator. We will do Metahuman Performance, and we will call this Massacre March. I don't know. So now we open this up, and we have this viewport here. Capture data. We will go with Massacre 2. And there I am from yesterday. And lovely footage. Okay, cool. Metahuman identity, Harry. So this is from the doing the left to right thing. And we will click process. And this will take some time now too. Cool, so that's done now. There's one more thing that I want to do. Where is it? Head movement, control rig. So this makes it so that the neck movement is part of bones and stuff. So then when I export it out to Blender, it doesn't move the whole thing, and then I can put a different pose, different rig. It doesn't move the body while the head still can move, basically. So we're going to export level sequence. This is the bit where I spent hours trying to work out what I was doing wrong. No, that's it. So export level sequence, save, create. Okay, so it's going to create us a level sequence. I'm going to click open on that, close that. So now we have the full performance in a level, And it was really, really good, didn't it? It's pretty good. Let's listen to it as well. Got headphones.
Even after all this time, you cannot understand.
Yeah, that is good. So I'm gonna click on this Metahuman. I'm gonna go to details and then skeletal man. There we go. Yeah. So my William Hartnell model, as I say, I'm not good at naming things. It's called New Metahuman Identity, and for some reason it's taller. So let's go up, and now it's William Hartnell performing it with the default Metahuman.
Even after all this time, you cannot understand.
That's pretty good. So I'm going to right click this and I'm going to go to bake animation, sequence, mass march, animation. But basically this is baking all the movements that it's done in its control rig to bones, and then we can import it to the other Metahuman and export that out. Now what we do is we go back to the content browser and we find this mass march animation. Now we open this up and it's got the full animation in here, which is brilliant. So now what we're going to do is we are going to export animation data and we're going to save it as Massacre March animation, and we're going to export. That's done. Okay, so here's our Blender file. Now I've done a very crude model of William Hartnell. I followed other tutorials online just to find out how to get the Metahuman and to shape it and do all that stuff. And then I've got the clothes, which it hasn't found the textures, which is very nice, but I can relink them after. So now what we're going to do is we're going to file import FBX, and we'll have this, and we'll import it. What that should do is give us the bone structure for the face. It's a lot of data, so it's really taxing on Blender. It's the other reason why there's so many bones, there's so many keyframes. I can't imagine myself anytime soon controlling, yeah, look at that, controlling the lip sync and trying to reanimate it, unless I do that in Unreal Engine. So I'm going to make sure everything's 0. You just select the face, you select the eyes, you select the armature, and you click armature deform. The sculpt for his hair, I'm going to pair this with the hair bone here. Control P bone relative. In the future I might get all the proper vertex groups for the weights and paint that on, so then, because it's a new mesh that I created for the hair, and that's only because this mesh is so dense. So I wanted to make my own mesh, but it doesn't have all the original vertex things, and there's so many for the hair that it's just going to take hours to do. So at the moment, the workaround I found is just pairing it to one bone, and it seems to work fine. And then it's all done. So now, when I go to pose position, it's now moved the head, and the head only, which is lovely. You can see how it's moving. Go back to this, set this back to rest position, and I'm going to parent the whole armature to this top bone relative. And what that's done now is I can now set this so the neck can move on its own, and when I set this to pose position, it moves the whole thing. So now it's a full articulated model that can move, and he's all completely animated. It's very exciting. Let's save that. Now what I would like to do is do the deepfake step. Unselect this to be rest position. Unselect that and make that rest position. And I'm going to create 3 cameras. I'm going to make the size square. We want just the face. This one has to be further back. I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to parent it. Let's just do it to the hair, because the hair's already connected to the body. Let's see how that works. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want. It kind of looks like he's dancing, but it stabilizes the whole head. Let me show you that properly. Stabilizes the whole head, so then it's just the performance. We should really decide on the frame rate. Graph editor. So this is 30 frames per second. So what we want to do is readjust it so it's 25, because that's the UK industry standard. And it was what, Doctor Who? I mean, it was 50 for Doctor Who, but there's a lot of frames. I could just interpolate it afterwards as well if I wanted to. So we need to select 2D cursor. That's all good. I'm gonna have to click this button off. Only show selected. And there's so many more. I'm gonna scale X. It might crash. Scaling along X. 0.83333333. We are going to render out this view now. Viewport render animation. And that will give us a low res animation. Right, that's done now, so that's really cool. Now, the main thing that I need to do is not touch the position of these cameras. So I'm going to lock them all in, because if I move them at all now, I won't be able to reproject them back on. Okay, now I've done that, I'm going to close Blender so I don't touch it anymore. So I've got this, the Deepfake Lab project. So there's 3 folders, and I'm just stripping the files out from all the folders, putting it into the same file, so then I can process it all. They've got different file names anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. Okay, that's all copied over now. So now we will go back to this window here. There's a lot of batch files, and we will open this manual fix. There shouldn't be any troubles with any of this, because it's the same angle, so we shall run that. Extract the faces, and then we can train it for a little bit, and then we can merge it out. So that's the current plan. Okay, so I tried doing the deepfake and it didn't look too good, so now I'm doing the render in Eevee with some more lighting, mainly so then you have a shadow in his mouth. I think that was what was kind of messing the deepfake up. You need more shadows, and you need the mouth to be dark inside, so then it can actually put his teeth, his proper teeth in there. So I'm going to re-render that out, and I'm going to have to redo the deepfake. That's fine. In the meantime, I would like to look at the script.
So, then what I did was I decided to go and have an investigation with the script. And so this is just me going through the script, trying to work out, oh, there's one camera, and then I go into Blender to my lovely Patrick Troughton 3D model. It's all set up for the power of the Daleks, but I was just like, just use it for this. That's a whole project that I spent years on that I haven't finished yet. So then I was like, okay, blocking out the camera, trying to work out where Hartnell would have moved to. He moves to the console, and then he goes and sits down in his chair, and I thought, then the camera can move over, and all this kind of shit. So that was all that, and then I was like, hey, I'm gonna make this motion even better by doing full body motion capture using Rococo Studio, where you can use 2 webcams, and I use my Blackmagic camera as one of the webcams, and my iPhone is another one, and that was a whole link process kind of with Wi-Fi thing. Then I was like, hey, I want to block out this in the room accurately, so I'm going to 3D scan the room. I'm going to use a measuring ruler, the tape measure, to get an accurate meter. I'm going to scale that inside the TARDIS, so then I can work out where I need to stand, where I need to move to, according to my 3D model. I did so much work. Like, why? And then I got a chair in the right position, so it would line up with the model. And I got this, my room is so messy. I got this table there to be the TARDIS edge that lines up to the bottom of the console, so there is like the extra bit. And so then I was like, okay, I'm gonna perform this. I've lost a lot of weight since then. And it just looks awful. It looks awful. Oh my god. So I was basically at a loss then. I was like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna have to just film myself and then hand animate a model? This is me taking a project and blowing it out of proportion. The whole point of this was just the face. The whole point of this was just motion capture, deepfake the face. I know it'd be nice to have it in the TARDIS. I know it'd be lovely to have a full performance, but the idea with that would be get an actor in a costume and then track the face onto his face. So yeah, yeah. So with all that in mind, you can watch all of that footage if you would like to. I'll put a link in the description to an unlisted video so you can watch 12 minutes of failed attempt at motion capture and blocking and stuff and working out the script. Basically me just trying to be a director and blocking and moving stuff. But here is the final result where I have projected the footage, the deepfake, onto the model. And so, without further ado, here is the final footage. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later.
Even after all this time, he cannot understand. I dare not change the course of history. Well, at least I taught him to take some precautions. He did remember to look at the scanner before he opened the doors. Now, hello, God. Oh, God. None of them could understand. Not even my little Susan. Or Vicky. And as for Father and Chesterton, they were all too impatient to get back to their own time. And now, Steve. Perhaps I should go home. Back to my own planet.